Alright everybody, another update on the lab and the flying sub. Yesterday, or for a couple days, I've been working on the front of the flying sub. I got the windows masked off, and then yesterday I hit it with the micro mask, those headlights you can see here. And I also, yesterday, I used micro crystal clear on the windows up in the docking ring. You can see here, turned out pretty good. Then here's the girders, they're all done. I worked on that last week, and I applied the aluminum. Then I went over it with flat clear, and let's see if I can get this right. This goes on top, this is the bottom of the girder, and I'll try to see. It goes on about just like that. That's gonna look cool. There's 6 of them that go around the dome, and it's gonna look pretty cool. And that's what I'll probably do today, probably off camera. I'm gonna have to clean it up here a little bit, and then use 5-minute epoxy, and I'll see how good it goes down the dome and what I need to put it in place with the 5-minute epoxy. That's what I'll be probably doing off camera. I got the rest of them here in the baggie. So what little bit I got left on the lab, will probably just do that off camera. I want to focus more on the flying sub today. When I get this primered up and then paint it, probably have this all done by tomorrow, Sunday, and then I'm going to start working on the photo edge for the interior of the flying sub. So I figured I'd give everybody a quick update on what I'm working on, what's on my bench, the lab and the flying sub, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update on the deep sea lab. It's finished. Applied a couple of clear coats on it, and it's been sitting for a good week. What I have to do now is take my X-Acto knife and clear those, open those windows up. I got it with some, let's see here, I did apply the micro mask, and then I hit it with some Tamiya tape. So I'm going to dig that out and open those up, and then in the legs I did apply the micro mask, and I'm going to have to poke those out, and I'm going to use probably micro crystal clear for those, and then let that dry, and I'm finished with it. Right now I'm working on the photo edge for the 1/28 scale flying sub that's set up on top there. Once I get that all together, it's going to take a little time with that, with the SMDs I'm going to use in it for lighting, and I may have some overhead lighting on the inside shining down. I'll probably use maybe 5 or 6, let's see, between 5 and 8 SMDs in that little flying sub. I'm going to have the rear engines light up. They're not going to flicker, but I'll have them lit up, because it's going to be parked up there anyways. It's not going to be in flight mode. So I'll show all that when I get to the flying sub. But back to the deep sea lab, it's done. I just got to do, open those up, the windows, and then do the legs, and then she's done. I'll probably maybe hook it up to some power just to see what it looks like, even with the legs. So I'm rambling off about where I'm at right now with the deep sea lab. It's done. Now I need to focus on the flying sub, which I'm doing now, and I'll go ahead and pause, and when I get the deep sea lab, maybe I'll film up that part hooked up to some power. So I'll pause for now and talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another quick update. I used the micro crystal clear. I had to redo the windows in the dome, and then I did the legs. So they're drying. I may have to add another coat to the windows, but I don't know. I'll see once that's dry. But that's about it for the Deep Sea Lab. Like I said, I may hook it up to some power on the base, see how it looks all lit up. I'll think about that, but I figured I'd get everybody another look. I got the windows in and the legs with the micro crystal clear. I'm going to let those dry and see what she looks like, and then take it from there. So I'll go ahead and pause for now, talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update on the 1/28 scale flying sub. I worked on and off and got the front done, hit it with a couple clear coats, and then where the little headlights are in the front, I'm going to have to, after it's together, I'll just have to paint that little bit of detail that's on each one, but I can do that later, and that's ready to be installed to the flying sub. The photo edge is done. I hit it with a couple coats of flat clear. I thought about putting the clear in it and making everything shine, but I just went with a flat coat. I have the bending tool out. They call it a vise, but photo edge bender, whatever you like to call it. Like I said, I got it off of eBay. It's metal. It's, you know, really heavy duty for what you get, and I paid like under $20 for this, and I got that off of eBay. I think it did come from Japan, and it took about 2 weeks or less to get it in the mail, but really nice, and I'll be using that for the first time. I'll have to get ready to use it on the interior, and I do have super glue, which they recommend. I've had this for a long time. I'm surprised it's still good. The only thing I hate about super glue is if you don't use enough of it, it hardens up and you got to throw it out, and I've wasted a lot of hard-earned money on this glue. I did recently buy this super glue Gorilla. I might try that on the photo edge once it's the shape of the interior, using that bending tool. I figured I'd give everybody a quick update. Now I may set up the camera to do this part with the bender and see how it turns out. So I figured I'd give everybody a quick update. I'm getting there. Once this is done, then I can focus on the lighting, and that's going to be tricky, but I'm sure I can get that part done, and it's going to really make that flying sub look pretty cool. I even got the back drilled out for the engines, and I may go with a warm white or red. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that part of it, but I'll figure it out when I get around to it. I do have the inside kind of light blocked, and in the back here where the two SMDs are going to go. But I figured I'd give everybody a quick update. This is what's on my bench, and I'm going to get started on this in a little bit, and probably hook the camera up to film that part. So I'll go ahead and pause for now and talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update on the flying sub. I think I'm going to focus on the front first and get those two lights installed using two 805 white SMDs. You can see right there's the SMD. It's really small, and they're abbreviated for surface mounted diodes, and there's the 1000 ohm resistor. They already come pre-wired from Jerry's website. I got these from HDA Model Works, and I think I'm going to go ahead and use some 5-minute epoxy to glue those in place, and then after they're dried and cured, I'll probably go over that with some tulip for light blocking, because that part you're not going to see once it's installed on the front of the flying sub, and at least I can get that done and probably hook it up to see what it looks like lit up once it's all done. But I think that's what I'm going to focus on first, because I have to install that first before I go putting the interior in. So I'll probably do this off camera, and then I'll go ahead and film that part once it's all finished and inside the flying sub, and I can plug it into some power and see how these 805s work for the headlights in the front. It'll probably be a little bit bright, but that's okay. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do off camera. I'm going to get this set up, and I'll use the 5-minute epoxy, and then I'll show everybody the end results. So I'll go ahead and pause for now and talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update on the flying sub. I touched up the interior, photo edge interior, and with some Gorilla super glue. I'm going to let that dry, but she'll be ready. I'll probably going to use some Tamiya XF16 flat aluminum on the girders and the rings. I'll either try to do that today or tomorrow. Now the engines, I drilled those out, and it does come with photo edge. I decided not to use the photo edge, but I did drill holes out for the lighting for the rear, the engines. I think that'll look pretty cool. And I thought warm white, white, or red, but I'd have to look at some episodes on YouTube, but I don't think that it really ever showed it light up or lit up. So I guess it's your call what color you want it to look like in the back. I thought about going with red, but I decided to use yellow. I've got I don't know how many in here, probably 2 or 3 SMDs 805s. They're yellow, and I'm going to use those for the backlighting of the engines. Already got a light block, so what I'm probably going to do is either fill them with 5-minute epoxy because it dries clear, and then just put the SMD over that. It should look pretty good. I may do a dry fit right now just to put the SMDs in place to see what it looks like, and then hook it up to some power and then go from there. I might use, since they're so small, I may go ahead and use 5-minute epoxy. Should do the trick. I'm going to paint the rear probably flat aluminum too, or steel, and I'm going to do that by hand after it's all together, and then I could maybe even do that last. Probably mask that all off and paint the sub with the chrome yellow. I'll see when I get to that part, but I'm rambling off. But that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to experiment probably with the yellow to see what it looks like, and then figure out how I'm going to attach it to the back here, where I already have it, like I said, light blocked, and I'll have to probably use some tulip over the SMDs, which that's what I'll probably do for light blocking it, and then it should be fine. And then I'll just mask off the front here when I paint it, and it should be good to go. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to experiment with these 805 yellow SMDs just to see what kind of effect it's going to look like on the engines for the flying sub. So I'll go ahead and pause for now and talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update on the flying sub. Been working on it on and off, and applied the seats the other day, and got everything in place, and I also glued the photo edge interior in the bottom part of the flying sub, and then I worked on these 2 little guys here. You can see here, it turned out pretty decent. Of course, one's at Admiral Nelson, and the other one will be Captain Crane. And and they turned out pretty decent. I used rubber black for their jackets. You can see here, kind of give it like a leather look. Turned out pretty good. Their face I used, and hands I used Flat Flesh XF15. I did use some flat black XF1. And what else did I use? I think I used this Armor Sand on the pants. So I'm going to be clipping them off the sprue right there, and I'm going to be gluing them in place off camera, and then I'm going to get set up for lighting. I have at least maybe 4 panels to light up. I thought about lighting the front up here where my thumb, as you can see, right here where my finger is. I'll get this thumb out of the way. Thought about lighting that up. I'm not quite sure yet what I'm going to do with the front, because once it's all together, you will be able to see that, and that would be kind of cool if I can light that up. So I'm looking at the room that I have and what I can do. Even though SMDs are small, you got to consider the wiring. Well, you got to consider the can't think right now. The resistors. Like I got, you can see the resistor right here where my finger is, and the other one right there for the front lighting. I just got to think of the room I got to play with is what I'm trying to spit out. But I'll figure that out. I have one SMD right here. It's a RGB slow to fast, or just slow. I think I'll hook it up. I think it's just slow. I'm going to have that for the reactor back there, and then I'll have some blinking white and warm white. I'm not going to go overboard with the lighting, but I'll do one at a time and see how it turns out. But I figured I'd give everybody a quick update on the Flying Sub. I should wrap this up this week and get it ready for some paint in the spray booth. So I'll go ahead and pause for now and talk with everybody later. Alright guys, another update on the Deep Sea Lab. I just posted on my YouTube channel and my Facebook page the vinyl cutter that I picked up, and last night I worked on the vinyl cutter, and I came up with this, and it turned out pretty cool. I do have my cutter set for inches, not millimeter, which you can switch real easy through the program. And looking at that, that's probably about 1 inch in scale. I didn't measure it, but I think that's close to 1 inch, and it looks pretty cool. Vinyl will stick to almost anything. Once I hit it with a clear coat, it'll be on there forever. The Deep Sea Lab, I finished that 2-3 weeks ago. Hit it with like 2-3 coats of clear coat, and it really looks awesome. Underneath that here on the leg right there, I got all the wiring, so when I get ready to mount that on the Flying Sub, I got to do a few more touch-ups before I seal it up, but I'm right there. It's ready to be sealed. I will have to, probably before I even get to that point, when I have to put down the wire in here and then light block the engines in the back, because the engines do light up, and should be ready to go once I do. I'll probably use some tulip to light block that, like I did the Flying Sub. You can see here the panels I hit with some tulip, and it turned out perfect. I'll do the same for the engines, and then I'll button this up in here and then wire it all together, and then I'll be ready to paint it. But I'll have to mask off this back here, and I'll also have to mask off, even though the windows are masked, I'm going to have to mask off both sides of the steel right there, think it said in the instructions you can use aluminum, but I went with the steel, and it still looks just as good. But I'll have to mask this whole front off, basically, before I mount this, before I join the two together. That's what I'm trying to spit out. I'm going to have to mask off the front and the back of the Flying Sub, and then I'll go ahead and wire everything up and then put it together. So I'm almost there with the Flying Sub. This weekend today is Friday the 20th of March. I work tonight, the weekend, and I'm off the 23rd, but I should be able to button this up, the Flying Sub, this weekend. I'll start working on it today. I don't go into work till tonight. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. But I figured I'd give everybody a quick update. I'll be posting a video soon on this. It's been a month since my last post. I've been posting little clips here and there on Facebook, and I haven't posted anything on my YouTube channel. So I'm rambling off. I'm going to go ahead and pause for now. I figured I'd give everybody a look at the Deep Sea Lab, the Flying Sub, and then my vinyl cutter. I've got a million ideas for that, so I'll go ahead and pause for now and talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update on the Flying Sub. I'm getting ready to button this up, seal it together after all this time, but I had to hook it up to some power to make sure everything's still working fine. You can see the engines are lit up back here. Everything's working fine on the inside. So I'm going to get ready to go ahead and put this together. See the front too, looks pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and get this buttoned up and get it ready for the spray booth. Maybe tomorrow, or I'm off Monday the 23rd. Today's Saturday the 21st of March. I will be posting up on my YouTube channel soon on this build of the Deep Sea Lab and Flying Sub 128 scale with a diorama. It's been a month now since I posted on my YouTube channel with this build. It's just working third shift. I've said it 1,000 times before, and this is a hobby. I take my time. I knew this was going to be time consuming with the Flying Sub, with the interior and the lighting, but it's almost done. I can't wait to get it in the spray booth and hit it with some primer and paint. So I'll go ahead and pause for now, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, back on the Flying Sub. A couple days ago I hit it with the black primer. Today I'm going to go over it with the white primer. I'll let that set. Today is Thursday, March 26th. I'm off this weekend coming up. The black primer turned out really nice. I applied that for any light leaks. If there's any light leaks, that black primer should cover that up. And then I'm going to go over it with the white primer. I got it in the airbrush. It's ready to go. And this should look good in white for now. And then I'll go over it maybe tomorrow, Friday, or over the weekend that I'm off with the Tamiya X2, I think it is, the gloss white. And I'll let that set, and then I'll go over it with the final stage with the chrome yellow and then the blue striping on it. But let's go ahead and get this painted white. There we go. Looking good so far. Probably should have cleaned out my airbrush, which I did when I got this started. Alright, you guys got the general idea. It's looking really cool. I'm gonna go ahead and call this a wrap for part 7. I think it's part 7. I haven't posted on my YouTube channel for over a month on this diorama I'm doing with the flying sub and the deep sea lab. But I'm going to go ahead and finish this off camera, and I'll post this up on my YouTube channel sometime this week or this weekend coming up. And I'd like to thank everybody for watching, all my YouTube subscribers. I shouldn't have too many more steps getting this done, but I'll go ahead and pause for now and talk with everybody later.